am going to be doing a bit of a life update with you, and I figured that I'd do it while I do my makeup because it just takes like the seriousness out of it, I feel. But yeah, I'm gonna do my makeup and my hair and stuff, and we're just gonna talk about something that is pretty big for me, I would say. And I'm not gonna explain like what I'm doing in terms of my makeup and hair, only because I feel like it'll break my flow of thoughts in my head. So if you guys are wondering like what I'm using or whatever, I'll just link everything, I guess, in the description below. So yeah, so we're just gonna get started, all right? Okay, I guess I should start off with a preface. So I'm 23 years old, if you guys didn't know, and I have been of legal age to drink for 2 years. Man, it's only been 2 years. Seems like much longer. And I never thought that I had a problem drinking, or I never thought that I would have a problem drinking, you know? Like, it's just not something that you really expect when you start drinking legally. But my family has a bit of a history with alcohol abuse and alcohol dependency, and I've actually lost a family member from organ failure due to alcohol use, and that was my grandfather on my mother's side. I never got to know him because he died before I was born. I was always told by my mother, be careful when you start drinking because you have in your family history a history of alcohol use. And apparently, and I haven't actually done much reading into like medical literature about this, but I have heard from many medical professionals that if you do have a family history of alcohol abuse, that you can inherit basically a gene that makes you more predisposed to alcohol abuse in your life. And so I always said like, oh, that's not gonna be me because I know when to stop and that sort of thing. I've always been the person that doesn't ever get blackout drunk. I've never ever gotten blackout drunk, and I wasn't ever like a heavy drinker. Like I never went out and got like 5 drinks in a row. Like that was never like who I was, and I don't usually go like clubbing or anything like that where it's just like the drinks are constantly flowing. So again, thought that everything was under control, thought that there was no reason to worry about my drinking habits because I wasn't on like a slippery slope, or I wasn't on a bad path. I just enjoy drinking. Okay, so that was like up until beginning of last year is when I started drinking a little bit more frequently, kind of. I don't know when exactly things started getting a bit more heavy in terms of my drinking habits. I want to say springtime of last year is when I started noticing that I was drinking a little bit more, and I noticed that I was drinking at least 1 drink every day, and that's not too bad. Like if you have a glass of wine a day, I personally don't think that there's really anything wrong with that if you can handle it, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't turn into a problem later on. So at the time I was just thinking like, all right, you know, I was basically just like drinking a glass of white wine a night. I didn't think that it was anything too bad, but I realized over months of drinking 1 alcoholic beverage a day that I was craving alcohol more. There were times last year when I was craving alcohol when I would wake up in the morning. I wouldn't drink in the morning, but I would crave it in the morning. And I was saying to myself back then, this is weird. I was basically saying like, this is weird that I'm craving alcohol like this. I hope I'm all right. I wasn't acting upon the cravings, but the cravings were definitely there. And so again, I didn't really think that much of it because I wasn't getting drunk every day. See, that's the thing. I guess I had the idea that in order to be an alcohol abuser, you need to be getting drunk every single day and like sloshed drunk every single day. Like if you have a little bit of a buzz every night from, you know, a glass, 2 glasses of wine, that's not too bad. That's what I would think, at least. And so again, I didn't do anything to try to change. There were a couple of times here and there last year where I would go on basically like a week where I wouldn't drink, and I actually felt really good during those weeks. To be quite honest with you, I felt really proud of myself those weeks And I wasn't listening to myself. Like, I guess that's like the biggest thing, is that I really wasn't listening to my body, and I wasn't listening to my soul when my soul was telling me, you feel good when you don't drink. You don't need to drink. And all the cravings that you have to drink usually doesn't leave you satisfied because you're just craving it again the next day, or even that same night for that matter. So I was then in my last semester of college. It was very, very stressful. I was very all over the place at the time. I was so anxious, and you know, of course, when adults get anxious, alcohol is always there. It's always marketed as the thing to help you relax and to help you unwind after a very stressful day. And I'm not gonna lie, it does help. But I started noticing that I couldn't have one drink anymore. I had to have multiple drinks in a night in order to feel what I wanted to feel, which was relaxed and like totally chill. I started noticing around like December of last year, and that started to scare me because I was saying to myself, okay, when I sit down to have one drink, it always turns into two. Sometimes 3, sometimes 4. And I can no longer just have one glass of wine. I knew that that was bad. I knew that that was a bad sign. So again, December of last year, I went about, I want to say 2 weeks sober. And again, I felt really good. I remember I went to this, it was like a Friendsgiving party with my coworkers, and I decided not to drink that day, and it was full of alcohol. Like, everyone was tipsy or drunk or drinking, and everyone was like, why aren't you drinking, why aren't you drinking? And I was like, I just don't want to. And at one point they thought that I was knocked up, which no, I wasn't. I was just battling with alcohol abuse, and I didn't want to partake in it that night, and I wanted to just have a night where I enjoyed the company of my friends without having alcohol mixed into that. And it worked. I mean, I was able to do that, and it was great, and I felt so proud of myself that I was able to do that. And then of course, you know, the holidays come, and for some reason I slipped back into the pattern. I went back to drinking. And of course, it was, again, the kind of scenario where it was like, if I started drinking, I couldn't stop, and it sucked. I continued drinking that way pretty much from December to April or something like that. It wasn't getting any worse throughout that time period. It was pretty consistent. And then around April of this year, I was with my boyfriend in New Jersey. We were basically quarantining there, and we came down with the coronavirus. I was scared to drink while I had it because I really didn't want my body to fail me, and I knew that if I were to drink, I would be compromising my health. So I didn't drink for about 2 weeks. Yeah, the 2 weeks that it takes for you to get over the disease. And then I recovered from corona, thank God, and things went, you know, back to normal in terms of my drinking. There were nights when I literally would have one drink and I felt out of control. Like, I couldn't stop drinking while I was down there. I remember there were a couple nights where I had like a glass of wine, and then I had a beer, and then I had vodka, and then I had maybe another vodka drink, and I was like, what the hell? Why am I drinking so much right now? And I realized that the reason why I was drinking so much is because, okay, hear me out. I remember there was a time when I was like 21, when I basically first started drinking, that one glass of wine would get me like buzzed, and it was such a nice buzz. It felt like new and fresh. It felt like a new high. Now that I'm more of an experienced drinker, one glass of wine doesn't get me that way anymore. In fact, I don't really get that buzz anymore. And when I was drinking and having those kind of like binges, I was trying to chase and I was trying to obtain that like new high kind of feeling, and I wasn't getting it. And no matter how many drinks I had, I just wasn't getting there, but I was getting progressively more and more intoxicated. So it was almost a feeling of like, I don't know, it felt like I skipped like the good buzz. So I came back home in May. I kept drinking. I still wasn't thinking that I had a problem or anything. I was just continuing on. And then about a few weeks ago, I started realizing like, it's really not good that I can't stop when I drink. And I was saying to myself, this is probably not the best, and I should probably stop drinking. Again, I wasn't taking those thoughts too seriously because I was like, no, but there's really no problem. Like, no one is saying to me like, oh, you have a problem, or you're always drunk, or whatever. I'm not spending tons of money on alcohol. I'm not getting bombed. I'm not getting super intoxicated to the point where I can't function every night. Why get sober if I'm not a mess, a complete mess, is basically what I was thinking. And then last Saturday, actually, I was going to meet up with my mom. I said to her like, oh, maybe we could get a drink for like an hour or something like that. Like, it was really just going to be like I wanted to have like maybe a glass of white wine and like a pastry or something from a bakery. Like, that's really what I was just looking for. I wasn't looking to have like a night of drinking. And to be quite honest with you, I really did not want to drink. I just proposed the idea of drinks because there's a lot of bars in my neighborhood, so I was just saying like, we'll go to a bar, we won't eat, but like maybe I'll get like a little dessert, and maybe like my mom could get like a glass of white wine or something like that. My intentions were not to get drunk at all, like at all. I was not saying like, ooh, I'm gonna get drunk tonight. No, nothing like that. I just wanted to like chat with my mom over some baklava or something. What ended up happening is we ended up going to this like sushi place, and you guys, I ended up getting a sake, and I said to myself, I'll just have this one little bottle of sake. It's like, you know, a small little bottle. That one bottle of sake, I kid you not, turned into three bottles like this. So this much of sake and a margarita. And I felt so sick when I got home that night. Like, actually room spinning. I thought I was going to vomit. I thought that I was gonna die. And then when I woke up in the morning, of course I was hungover that whole entire Sunday. And I was just saying to myself like, shit, man. You know, it's one thing to, and maybe this is the denial in my head, but I almost feel like if I was like going out with my friend that night and I said to myself before I left, okay, Lenay, you have no limits today, like just go for it. Let's just celebrate. Then I would feel like it's not too much of a problem. But the fact that I went into that night not wanting to drink and it turned into that where I was so drunk, it blew my mind. And I said to myself, shit, there really is a problem here. And I was saying that to myself, obviously because of my drinking habits, but because I was vlogging. Honestly, I feel like if I hadn't been vlogging and documenting on camera my drinking habits, I may not have woken up, or it may have taken me longer to wake up. My first few vlogs on this channel, I'm drinking in every single one of them, and that made me like really upset at myself. And I was saying to myself like, is this the image that I really want to put out to the world? I mean, my first video is get to know me while I get drunk. Like, I'm putting forth an image that I'm an alcohol abuser, that I rely on alcohol to have a good time. And if I have young-ish viewers, or viewers that are under 21, or even viewers that are 21 plus, like, I don't want to encourage people to drink every single day. I don't want to be associated with that, but I am associating with that, and I have been, and I felt terrible that I was putting videos out that associated me with something like that. So I was just, you know, I was really like trying to look inward, and I was saying to myself like, shit, I'm coming across as kind of like a drunk right now in my videos. So that thought of me coming across a way that I didn't want to come across online, coupled with that event where I didn't want to drink and it turned into me getting full-blown drunk. On Sunday I said, that's it. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm not gonna drink anymore. Like, it's not doing anything good for me. In fact, it's harming me. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't. I don't want to do it. I want to be healthy. I want to be full of life. I want to extend my life as much as possible. I want to be happy. And when I drink, I'm not happy. I'm not. You know, there comes a point where you just have to like remove yourself from certain scenarios, people, substances, and it's gonna be hard. And I'm not gonna lie, like, most people I hang out with drink. And I'm gonna have to say no every time they are drinking in front of me. It will be tempting, and it'll be my responsibility, but I'm excited. I'm excited to not associate with something that has taken my grandfather's life, that has harmed so many people and killed so many people outside of my family, and that really is kind of whack. I want to be healthy, and I want to have good energy. all the time. That's pretty much my little life update. I know that this is a very, very chill kind of video. I decided to do this because, you know, I want to share every part of myself to you guys. I feel like I come across very lighthearted or silly in my videos, which is great. I like coming across that way, but at the same time, I feel like I also have to show my vulnerable side, and I need to show every side of me in order for you guys to get the full picture, because I really don't want to be the type of YouTuber that only shows the best parts of themselves. I want to show every part of myself, and if that means putting forth a video that has a little bit less production value, so that way we can get down to the nitty-gritty of certain life events and certain decisions that I'm making in my life and things that have been like on my chest and stuff like that, then so be it. You know, not every video needs to be fun. Videos can be serious as well, and if they have substance to them, that's all that really matters. And I feel like my story is something that has substance because a lot of people my age drink very heavily, and they don't realize that, especially if you have a family history of alcohol abuse, and even if you don't, heavily drinking, it can be very detrimental to your health and your mental health and your general well-being. And if this video is a wake-up call for somebody, that's great, because I wish I had someone my age who said the things that I said in this video to me. I wish I knew somebody this young that said, you know what, it's not worth it anymore. Alcohol is just not worth it, and I'm over it. I wish I had someone in my life my age that told me that. I don't. So if I can be that to somebody else, that's great. Even if I can't, and even if this video doesn't inspire anyone or doesn't enlighten anyone, that's fine too. If you guys have experienced anything related to my story, anything, you know, even remotely similar, or even something that's completely different, comment below. Like, I really would love to hear your story. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to learn from you. You know, if I get stories from some of you guys, I would love to shout you out and talk about your stories in a future video. People may think I'm crazy for putting my life out into the universe. They may think I'm dumb. They may think that it's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy, that because it doesn't make me money just yet, that I shouldn't keep going, I shouldn't be doing this. But you know what? Even if I make nothing from my entire YouTube career, at least I know that I stayed true to myself and I did something that I wanted to do, and I shared my experience to other people. I'm really happy that you guys are here, every single one of you. To be very honest, I have 102 subscribers right now, and I can't even believe that I have that many. And even though someone may say like, man, 102, that's nothing, I don't care. I believe in me, and I believe in all of you guys, and all I want to do is build a community. If you have it in your heart to subscribe, please do. I would love you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And again, comment down below anything on your mind. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys. My face is kind of covered right now, but thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm so happy you're here, and I'll talk to you again next week, alright? Bye-bye.